Hello and welcome to the Sunbirdcrochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of August. It's supposed to be in the middle of summer, but it does feel rather like autumn here. It's not too cold, it's about 20 degrees maybe, and today the sun is shining, it's blue sky outside, and I hope that I can go for another walk later after work. So today I have for you a finished object and a work in progress, and something rather unusual for my area here, which is a walk with alpacas. And if you're following me on Instagram, then you already saw a couple of scenes with the lovely alpacas. And then I have some antiques, and yeah, I think that's about it. Which sounds rather a lot, but you know me, I keep it short usually. So let's start with finished object. My finished object is currently still in this little bag. I repurposed it. I had in here lots and lots of aqua markers. I bought them more than 5 years ago. I tested them, they are still okay, but I gifted them to the daughter of my cousin, who is also my godchild, and she is very much into art, and she recently started to like crochet. I'm not influencing her at all. So my finished object is the Entwine shawl. It's all done, and it has a wingspan of 1 meter and 30 centimeters. I can comfortably wear it. Although it is a little short and I do have a big gauge, so some people might wind up with a little kerchief only, but I would think, and I was asked this on Instagram, if you start with more chains than what's in the pattern and you work your way up to the stitch count of the first or the second part of the Entwine pattern, then there's no reason why you couldn't just like extend it. You start with I don't know how many. It's kind of maths, and maybe it's then asymmetrical, but that's not a problem either. Or you block it, but she says in the pattern that if you block it too much, then the definition will be ruined. You see this is an interlocking crochet technique, involves that you have two sides which look different, and if you pull it too far apart, then you can see the yarn behind it. So she doesn't recommend to block it aggressively. This is the more brown than turquoise part, or more sage, no, more brick than sage. And this is the more sage than brick. I think I prefer this side. Although I'm brown or brick, I think color-wise this suits me better. Either way, it's reversible. So this is my finished object, and it feels like I've talked about this last time as well. If that has been my finished object last time, I'm sorry, or not, but in any case, it's worthwhile to show it to you twice. The pattern calls for 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and this is what I have left of a brick color, and this is what I have left of a sage. So it really was, and I wanted yarn chicken, I think that's what they say. So yeah, not much left of the yarn. My work in progress is living in my Halloween project bag, which I have made myself. This is for one side, and this is the other side. The fabric is the Ghastlies. I just love the colors of it. But I have it for 2 years now, and it's really huge, and it's lovely. So inside here I have my work in progress. And if I show you these 2 yarn balls, then you already know what I'm talking about. Yes, it's still the same. I'm trying not to start something new still, but definitely there's going to come something new soon. So let me show you. I've made quite a lot of progress on my color work. And this is the Illuminate sweater. It's a knitting pattern by Andrea Mowry. And this is how far I am. This is the crochet version I'm making just for myself. A crochet version. I think I'm not doing anything wrong. I bought the pattern, the knitting pattern, and so far I'm really happy with it. Obviously, if you have sleeves and everything else, the fit will be much better, but yeah, I think it works out nicely. This time, and I think this is my preferred method now, I started with 160 chains, and this is the ribbing which I added then later once I had a bit of color work done. So this looks much neater to me than first making a ribbing and then picking up the stitches from the side. This looks much neater, I think. And I like the size of the ribbon as well. It doesn't choke me or anything, and I can't wait to wear this. I am working with yarn from Tamivi colors and Lana colors. And this was she only had 4 skeins of these, so I bought all 4 skeins, and I hope that will be enough for doing the body and the sleeves. The sleeves and the body in the knitting pattern are supposed to be striped, so I can alternate anyway. And I still have another ball of this as well, or another skein. I still have to ball it up. Yeah, so this is the lovely Illuminate sweater. I made a mistake, and then I decided to, yeah, here. It's difficult to find. I can only feel it from the other side because that's where I joined the yarn. I made a mistake in the color work. So what I did was I didn't frock it. I just took a length of yarn of a bright one, and I corrected it by kind of embroidering the yarn on top. And I think if you wear it, no one will see that. I mean, I had to search for it right now. Yeah, that's one thing. If you do the crochet for a long time, then you know how to trick. Crochet trickster. So that's my work in progress. So as I was saying, I had a lovely excursion. It was family members. It had been a birthday present or like a birthday party event, and it was a very rainy day, so we went for a walk with alpacas. It's a group of 5 male young alpacas, alpaca boys, and they're all very sweet. One is a little bit more tricky because the previous owner, had made the mistake of cuddling it too much. Well, the current owner was taking that one, and we were, oh, there were 6 of them, but we were a group of 5, so she took the one and the rest of us took the other 5, and the birthday girl was able to pick her favorite, and I got a white alpaca called Karl, or Carly, Karlchen, very sweet, and they said to us that they are trying to get together the alpaca with a character similar to the person who will take the lead. Yeah, so when Karl was introduced, it was said that he would talk a lot and that he would like to eat all the time and that he's very sweet-natured. Yeah, I don't know about eating all the time. Yeah. Talking a lot. It was funny. We walked through the forest and Henty was the only one making the noise like all the time, and we all got a little pouch with some food around the neck, like the healthy things for the alpaca, and this was supposed to last the whole trip, which took us 1.5 hours of slow walking through the forest, and I had to put it into my armpit, like squeezing it away, because he came from the right side and tried to open it with his lips. And did you know that alpacas don't have teeth on the top of a jaw? They have a gum plate there, and there are only teeth on the bottom jaw. I learned a lot about alpacas that day. They don't like to be patted on the head, but the rest of the body is fine. They were giving us an introduction about poisonous plants and what we're supposed to eat and what we're not supposed to eat. Basically everything in bloom should be avoided. And we did have a couple of stops. Obviously you can't just drag the alpaca through the forest. So we kind of walked together. You have to take yourself back, you have to be patient. And after a while, at the beginning I was a little bit nervous, but after a while I really felt like I calmed down, because I had to. Alpacas are animals of flight and are a little bit skittish, so you have to give the alpaca a feeling of calmness. Yeah, they do have a huge bladder, so it seems. We stood there for at least 2 minutes until they all emptied themselves. First thing when we entered the forest. All of them at the same time. And also later at one of the 2 breaks, all at the same time. They seem to be a kind of group pressure. Yeah, they do, unrelated, they do use the wool or the hair of the alpaca. She gives that away. She gets a shearer, someone to shear them, and then she gives that away to be made into blankets and cushions, stuff like that. She also has a little shop on her farm. I couldn't resist this cup. Haven't used it yet as a mug. Maybe I will put some pens inside. I'm not sure yet. But you know, that day I was really happy about that trip, and when you're in a good mood, you buy all the things you would never think of buying usually. I've got an alpaca mug. And I will insert the video of the alpaca tour here. I wasn't able to film everything. I rather wanted to stay focused on the animal, and I didn't want to keep shoving the camera into its face. So I wanted to take my time, and I want to feed it and pet it, and yeah, just enjoy the walk. So we had 2 stops in between. One was in the middle of a forest, and the other was close to the water reservoir, where we walked around the water reservoir. So yeah, that's the bridge you can see there, because we walked across the dam. So let me just stop the waffling, and I'm going to show it to you here. I hope you enjoyed that walk as much as I did. And now I'm coming into the antiques section. Yes, I seem to get into the mood for antiques every time around the same time. And there are a lot of antique markets usually, unless it's COVID time. We have an antique shop here where I live, in the town where I live. They did have a little Florentine tray, which looks like this. It's made of wood, and it's not a very expensive little tray. It's small. I wanted to put on top some mocha cups, which I bought, and this cost me €3, so it was a bargain really. And I realize it's not everyone's cup of tea to have old stuff, used stuff from other people, but I always clean what I buy, and I think these things have character and history. So what I want to use them for is for my new mocha cups, which I bought for €15. 8 cups, and they are from Limoges, which is a French company, very famous and kind of fancy company. So I was surprised to get the 8 mocha cups for only €15. So these are, I'm just showing you one, the others are exactly the same. So they have a little gold edge and gold decorations. It doesn't fit much in there for size. I hope it's enough for actually a modern modern sized espresso. So there's a little handle also in gold. Obviously I will have to wash these by hand, but I don't mind. And down here you see Limoges. So this tray will be perfect for serving you a cup of mocha or espresso. Of course, the reason why I went to the antique dealer here locally was to look for cupboards, and I want to replace an old IKEA bookshelf, and I'd like something which I can close and all my crafty mess can be hidden behind doors. So that's the whole idea, but they didn't have anything I would like in the shop. And then there's another place nearby. It's like a so-called Antiekhof, which means that it's a farmhouse and they have a huge shed or barn, rather a barn I would say, and it's full with antiques, furniture, and good conditioned ones. These are actually superior compared to the shop I went here. So I saw a couple of cupboards or wardrobes, cupboards, cabinets, I don't know what you're calling them in English. Two of these were from the same time period, which is called Gründerzeit. Gründerzeit here in Germany. I will put the time period up here. I have to look it up. Don't want to tell you anything wrong. And then there had been like a buffet kind of thing, which was from the 1920s, 1930s, and it had like a cognac color. And I really would have liked to buy this one, but it's too big. It's too big for my hallway. So I decided in the end not to get it. So I didn't buy any of the other cupboards yet. One was a huge wardrobe. Another one, which I actually want to get, is a one-door wardrobe cupboard. It has shelves inside. So I will call the guy and I will ask him the price for it. He's going to deliver it to my place. I actually got my standing clock from them, my grandfather clock, the huge one, which you probably hear ticking in the background. So I'm looking forward to getting my new wardrobe. Since I was already there, and if you are following me on Instagram, second time I say that. Anyway, then you will know that I am into paper art, cutting silhouettes, cutting from black thick paper or cardboard paper, scenes from fairy tales and these kind of things. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. So it was a surprise to me when I entered the antique barn that he had on display a couple of these silhouette paintings or silhouette pictures, and these are antique. He told me they are 100 years old and they are coming from a cloister in Wipperfürth, which is a place nearby. And I think it's a kind of it was probably a project with children, because this is the back and you can see that it's handmade, and they used paper from a painting and stuff like that. And on the front you see that this is glass, and then they cut the little deer, and the frame, the black frame, is also in paper. The tree isn't. Also the grass that was painted or drawn with a pen. But I still got this for just $1 or $2. I mean €1 or $2. And this is the other one. And I chose to take this one as well because this is supposed to be a little Red Riding Hood, and I think she has a jaw problem. It's funny, but you only realize it's a girl because of a braided hair. So I got these two from him, and I don't know yet what I will do, except that I'm currently just looking for inspiration and ways to do this myself. So let me just show you a couple of these pictures. So this is from 1912. And then she has the fairy tale ones, or this little Satan boy. It says Beelzebub. And this is a fairy tale one. Another Red Riding Hood, Little Red Riding Hood. There. And these are from 1917, 1918. So during World War I. These are also fairy tales. And that's not the only book I bought. There is the very well-known British artist, I think he was British, called Arthur Rackham. And he's famous for his fairy tale illustrations. But he also worked with paper art. There you go. They reprinted this recently. This is Pook Press. Again, I can send you the ISBN number if you're interested, or you just look it up. And it's like a 100-year anniversary of these books. And it's really beautiful. It's the story. The first one is Cinderella. The second one is The Sleeping Beauty. And these illustrations or paper cuts are so beautiful. It's really blowing my mind. Some of them are even in color. So I can really recommend the book. Not just because of the images, but also because of the story. It's really well written, and it's written by C.S. Evans. I love these things, but I realize it's not for everyone. But I still hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe I should have put a warning in front, but you know, you can always skip ahead if you are bored. That said, there is nothing else I want to show you except maybe some slow life from the garden when the weather allows. During the last couple of weeks, whenever the weather is good enough, I spend a bit of time in the garden. Not as such with gardening work, but with just enjoying the garden. And we do have this huge tree and quite a lot of wildlife, so I felt a little bit like, what's her name? Snow White without the dwarfs. You know that scene when she is with all these animals from the forest? And no, I'm not breaking her into song. Don't worry. But as I was lying underneath the tree, the squirrel actually came and it was curious, and the neighbor's cat came and he was snuggling up to me, and another cat came, and lots of birds coming to the feeder. So if you are not bored by these scenes, then I can put them right at the end of this video. Right, and that brings me already to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I would like to hear what you are up to, what other crafts apart from crochet you enjoy doing, and what are your projects, what are you working on right now. I hope you will keep safe and healthy, and I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye! runter. Das ist genau über mir. Also das wackelt da in dem Baum. Ich weiß nicht, ob man das sehen kann.
Pflänzchen, die wir heute gepflanzt haben.